Open your leg and move your leg. Like this. Your arms. Other leg. Do them both. Pick up the hat a little bit. Put the hat the other way. Put it up a little bit. No, I want to see your face. Do it. Go.